Hey, fourth graders. So today we're going to work on a lot of estimation and mental math, rounding and adjusting to try to get close to our number. It's also a really good way to estimate. We're not finding always the exact here. So we're going to go back on our rounding skills and on our addition skills. So today we're going to start with the best-selling fruits at Joy's Fruit Shack are peaches and bananas, which we have right here. During 1 month, she sold 397 peaches and 412 bananas. So then if I asked you about, and you'll notice this word about, how many peaches and bananas did she sell? About means close to. I'm not asking you exactly how many peaches and bananas did she sell, but about how many peaches and bananas. This comes in handy, let's say you're at the grocery store and you need to do some quick mental math, or you have to make a decision kind of quickly. Your mom's like, hey, about how many hamburgers do we need? About how many buns do we need? About how much money are you going to spend? It's really a good way to get just a quick mental math going. So the way you can find this is to really round it to the nearest number. So if I was to look at this, 397 peaches, it's about 400 peaches. I'm going to round it to the nearest friendly number. I'm going to say about 400 peaches. It's only 3 away, so it's really close. 412 bananas, also really close to 400. So I'm going to say about 400 bananas. Altogether, that puts me at about 800 pieces of fruit. And again, if someone said about how many pieces of fruit, you don't need to give them the exact. We're going to say about 800 peaches and bananas. But then when it says exactly, this is when you're going to have to line them up and add them together. So now we're going to say 397 plus 412. And again, there are times you're going to need to be exact change, the exact amount of money you owe someone. That kind of stuff, you're going to want to be exact. Or if I was to put it in order for something, say I was having a party and you're like, oh, I have exactly 312 people coming, and you only order 300 meals, it's going to be a problem. But in a lot of cases, rounding or finding about usually is pretty good. So 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. Again, I can only put one place value down here, so I need to carry it over. 3 plus 4 is 7, 8. Wow, look, exactly 809 pieces of fruit. I mean, man, that was pretty close using estimation. So let's try this again. I'm going to give you a problem, and I'm going to ask you to find about the answer. Estimate your answer. So if I said 89 plus 28, I'm going to give you a second to think. How would you estimate this? So I would say 89 is super close to 90. 28 is really close to 30. 120 would be my about answer. And then if you need to find exact, this is where you could put 89 plus 28. 9 plus 8 is 17. Carry over my group of 10. 8 plus 2 is 10. I have one more 11. Remember, if it goes over an extra place value, you can write the whole number down. So my exact was 117, about 120. So you see, we can get pretty close with this estimation. What you want to do is just keep it closest to the next friendly number. I'm going to give you one more to practice in your head real quick. We'll try 153 plus 98. I want you to think for a second, what friendly numbers could you round these to? I mean, I think 153 is really close to 150, and 98 is really close to 100. That's really easy. I can look at this and I know 150 plus 100 is 250. It's very close. It's easy. It's quick. Our estimate, again, is generally pretty close to the amount. So now let's see how close we actually were. Well, 3 plus 8 is 11. Carry my group of 10. 9 plus 5 is 14. 15. Again, I have to carry over. 251. You guys, our estimate was only one number off. You can see why these estimates are really helpful. Rounding makes it quicker and makes it faster. And again, you really want to work on this rounding. I would say we should be able to do this in our heads now. I should be able to look at 98 and say that it rounds to 100 without having to go through a terribly big process here, right? So now what we're going to get into is we're going to get into some multiple number type situations where we're going to have to round several numbers to estimate. A lot of this is going to have to be our mental math. So I'm going to give you a quick one really quick here. 8, 4, 6, and 2. Well, you'll notice here is this is kind of the same idea where you're looking to quickly add and find a friendly number, but what you can do here is you could do this in your head. You can do this in your head finding easy combinations. So what I like to do is I like to pull out the facts that I already know. I know 4 plus 6 is 10. I know 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. Do you see how I was able to do that without even going through every single one? You could do 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus another 8 is 20. But I might not know all of those facts. Pull out the ones that you know. You can also do this when you're adding up with bigger numbers as well. I'm going to do this a bigger one. Let's go with, I'm not going to make them too big for you this time. 35 plus 29 plus 75 plus 61. Again, I traditionally would look at this and go 5 plus 9, and then add another 5, then add another 1. I want to focus on just my ones first. And what can I pull out that I know? I know for sure that 5 plus 5 is 10. I know for sure 9 plus 1 is 10. Great. So I have 2 groups of 10, which gives me 20. Carry it on over. And again, if you want to look through this and see if there's anything that you recognize, go ahead. Find your groups of 10. I know that 7 plus 3 is 10. And then I have 6 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6 plus 4. Oh, wow. I'm going to put these kind of together here. That's another group of 10. Check it out. And guys, you can do this for as big as you want to go. I'm going to give you a really big one to wrap this up. So I'm going to give you 147 plus 182 plus 108 plus 165. I'm going to give you a quick second. Are there any combinations in here that you can find that will make it go a little bit easier? So if I looked at this, I would say I know that 8 plus 2 is 10. And you might not always be able to get exact groups of 10. Like 7 plus 5 is 12, but at least then we've now narrowed it down to 10 plus 12. Instead of going 7 plus 2 plus 8 plus 5, we now have 10 plus 12. 22. Carry my 1. And then I would look here and I'd go, okay, I know 6 plus 4 is 10. 8 plus 1 is 9. 10 plus 9 is 19. Same thing. And then this one's easy because it's all ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you wanted, I could give you some sort of problem. Let's use 147 plus 82 plus 100. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. 147 plus 182 plus let's see here. What did we have? 100 and let's do 108. I like that one. All right, that works good. All right, so we could also do this with our estimation to find about what would this equal. So I'll give you a second to think. What would we round this to make it friendly? I would say, and I'm just going to put it off to the side over here, 147 is about 150. 182 is about 180. And 108 is about 110. Now we have a much friendly way to estimate. 0, 8, and then again with this, if you will know your 8 plus 5, excellent. If you want, you could say 8 plus 1 is 9, 5 more is 14. You always want to look for easy groups with facts that you know. And what you know, what facts are really quick for you might be different. Maybe you're like 8 plus 5, 13, easy. Or maybe you are easier with adding your 9s or your 10s. So whatever you're looking for these easy facts, it's what's easy for you. So our estimation was 440. We'll come back over here and see how close we get. 8 plus 2 is 10. Add 7 more is 17. 8 plus 1, for some reason I like my 9s facts, so I usually pull those out, but if you don't, you don't. It's okay. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 3, or plus 4 is 13. 437, wow. So we got really, really close just using our mental math. So today is a huge focus on mental math. All rounding to friendly numbers, getting close. And then we're also going to focus on this word reasonable. So we have if it's about something, it's our estimate, right? We're just estimating. We're not getting our exact. And then we have our exact. Oops, sorry, I got a phone call there, guys. Exact is when you actually have to solve. So if they're asking you about how close can you get, that's your estimate. They're asking you for your exact, you have to solve. And maybe you want to write this in your math notebook somewhere. I'll give you a quick second, maybe take a screenshot. Make sure you really know these words today. Then the last word you're going to see is reasonable. And hopefully we've heard this word before. Reasonable. If it's within reason, it makes sense, right? Is it reasonable? If I said is 200 plus 400 equals, or actually you know what? Let's make these a little funkier. 202 plus 405. Would 600 be a reasonable answer? Well, yeah, I know that 200 is close, or 202 is close to 200. 405 is close to 400. 600 would be a reasonable estimate. But if I said my estimate was 1,500, you would look at that and be like, I know that is not reasonable because that is nowhere near what the actual answer would be. So I'm going to give you one more example of is it reasonable? Reasonable, is it close? Does it make sense? Could you look at it and be like, yeah, that works. You don't have to solve the exact if it's reasonable. So our first one here is 7,300. I'm getting a little bit bigger on you guys. And 90 plus 79,036. You could estimate to find a reasonable answer. Well, I know that 7,390, if I want to get kind of close, I'm just going to say 7,000. I'm not going to get super close. I'm just going to round it to the nearest 1,000. And then I could just say plus 80,000. I'd say 87,000 is a reasonable answer. And then you could go through and then you could find your exact by actually putting them on top of each other. But if I looked at this and someone said, let's say your little brother's like, I have, Pokemon cards? Well, I don't know what you could have 7,000 of as a little kid, but you'd have a lot. Pennies, let's say you have pennies. This is a lot of pennies. I have 7,390 pennies and 79,036 dimes. How many coins do I have in all? Let's just say. If I looked at this and I was like, what if someone told you you have about 2,000 coins? Would that be reasonable? No way, because it's way too small. Or if someone's guess was 2 million, also not reasonable, way too big. So our focus today, you guys, is mental math. Mental math using your head. Not using your paper quite as much. If you are going with about, I'm going to review one more time, is an estimate. Get close. You don't have to be exact. And then when they do say exact, that's when you actually have to solve. And reasonable is, does it make sense? Is it possible? Is it close? I'm going to say, does it make sense? That's the best way for me to remember it. If you're looking at these, and you don't have to add, if someone said, is it reasonable? Again, use your mental math. Is it close? Does it make sense? Is that a good answer? And then if not, no, it's not reasonable. So today your big focus is mental math.